Nope.
All right, and we are live down here at the Clubhouse London. Brand new home of Going for Two. Lots of big things have been going on. Lots of big things have been happening. If you just started tuning in, you haven't missed anything quite yet. We haven't quite gotten into it. How you feeling, Chad? It took us a little bit of time to get this thing sorted out, but it seems like we're rolling now.
It took us some time. We were only 31 minutes behind schedule, which I'm not going to lie, I thought we were going to be 2 hours behind schedule.
That's not so bad. Yeah,
I didn't know this show was ever going to happen tonight.
we got close.
We are doing things that we've never done before. We have stepped up our game to a whole new level that is brand new to us.
Yeah.
As everybody can see, we have a new home. We're live here at Kellogg's. We did our draft party here. Huge success, blew up.
Yep.
And now we're kind of, going to grow from there, work into the football season.
Yep.
We had some massive contracts this week.
Yeah.
More dollars than I made this year.
What? Huge contracts in football, but like even more important, if you're looking for the boys on a Monday night, it is down here at Clubhouse for Monday Night Football. We're going to be giving away jerseys. There's going to be pick'em. There's going to be lots of different things going on. We're doing a lot of different shows down here for local sports, and giving the local vibe out there on how things have been going. Here, the simulators down right now. Someone's going to
Keep behind us.
Yeah.
I want to know who's winning, though.
Well, I have a feeling that the dad's win. I'm just guessing.
I hope so.
Didn't even look around the corner, but I feel like the dad's winning. But yeah, we got lots of things going on down here. If you get down here before the end of the summer, you're getting a half price simulator. If you want to come down here tonight and join the boys, we're probably gonna get some half price wings after this, but you can indulge in some half price wings. But there's so much going on, and like you said, lots of contracts being spent, lots of money being spent, and really in the off season, 4 quarterbacks have gotten significant money. And if we're looking at significant money, we're talking Jared Goff kind of kicked it off and got his 55. Trevor Lawrence, which if you follow the show, you know that there's been a lot of debate around the Trevor Lawrence contract.
Things have gone a little heated about Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then over this weekend, Tua Tagovailoa, I said that one for you. He got $53.5 million, which somehow he's the lowest paid out of all those 4 guys, but like someone had to be. And then Jordan Love is the richest contract in Green Bay Packer history, which they have a lot of like a pretty storied franchise over there. So I'd say of all those things going on and all those, you had to start a franchise with just one of those 4 quarterbacks. Like,
well, you know where I'm going.
Well, let's hear it.
I'm going to be honest with you, Trevor Lawrence. I've never strayed from this. The day he got drafted, I'm going to use this as my example. If you put Trevor Lawrence in San Francisco, how good is he?
Huh?
I'm going to tell you right now, they win a Super Bowl. And there's no question about it. If you give Trevor Lawrence weapons that are in San Francisco, they're not losing to Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
And that's not even a debate.
Well, and it just goes like on some teams, the quarterback is more important. On other teams, the coach is more important. And I think when it comes to the 49ers, the coach is just more important than the quarterback.
Yeah, he does a great job scheming. Unfortunately, he has a tough time holding a lead in the fourth quarter.
Well,
he's now
Campbell. Sorry, Josh.
He's now 0-3 in Super Bowls, but I think Shanahan's gonna have that like Andy Reid kind of life.
Yeah.
You know, you found out what didn't work early, and then you work on, you grow from there. And I do think Brock Purdy's his guy. Like that's gonna be the next guy that gets paid that no one's talking about.
Well, and you know, like not to move completely off topic from what we're doing, but you're right. He's the next guy paid. Where does he fall on the list? I mean, you can't say he's got the intangibles that the other guys do, but it's also ignorant to say that he's not a franchise quarterback. You know,
he will be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. Well, and you know they have a lot of problems going on there. Their roster's looking to get paid. They got a receiver that's looking to get $30+ million. I can tell you in the history of the NFL, no team has ever won the Super Bowl with a wide receiver that makes $30+ million.
Well, it's simple. You're not going to pay a receiver and pay the quarterback.
Yeah, well, you can't.
And if one's expendable, I think you know which one it's going to be.
Yeah. If you're paying 55 to the quarterback, you shouldn't have to pay 30 to the receiver because that quarterback should be elevating your receivers. Now, Miami is the example of that right now. Waddle's still on his rookie contract, but he's going to get paid. We know that. They just got Beckham, who at one point in time was like the pinnacle of being a receiver, but he's on the tail end. But then they have Tyreek Hill, who has just hit 30, which I wouldn't say that he is a normal human being, but most people, when they get into their 30s, it starts to go into a downward spiral.
According to all the kids he's had, he's not slowing down.
And because of that, it's probably why he's going to have to keep playing.
Yeah, he will be paying for a lot of kids for a long time.
But now that he makes $53 million, which ironically enough, his $53 million a year is more than Dan Marino made in his entire career playing for the Dolphins. Dan Marino made $51 million career earnings. Tua is now making $53 a year. I mean, the dollar's just not worth what it used to be. I understand inflation. I understand all these different things, but that's a hard thing to digest.
Hall of Famer, probably one of the greatest passers that's ever played this game.
Guy would have been a Pittsburgh Steeler if he didn't do cocaine at Pitt.
Hey,
allegedly. They never proved it. Allegedly.
But yeah, all these guys are getting their money. We know it's happening, and we had a very heated debate on this show about a month and a half ago about this.
Yeah.
About these guys getting paid and how some people don't think that's what they're worth. It's not about what they're worth. Yeah. It's about what the rate is for a quarterback.
Right.
Of all those guys that got paid, Jordan Love has no right being the highest paid quarterback.
Well, right. And you want to talk about worth, you go into any restaurant nowadays and it's $11 for 6 wings or $15 for 6 wings. You come to the clubhouse tonight, it is $18 for 2 pounds of wings. And you want to talk about what things are worth? Let's make that dollar stretch a little bit. But yeah, I agree. Did we mess something up?
Nope. I think.
Sorry, she was staring at me. I didn't know. It's okay. We're live if you want to. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, I agree. That is the going rate. It doesn't matter if you're looking to buy a car, sign a quarterback, go out for dinner. Certain things just cost a certain amount of money these days, and the quarterback position is one of them.
Yeah, quarterback position is one of them. Receivers one of them. If you want a corner, it's going to cost you. A pass rusher, it's going to cost. If you're a top 5 player in this league at your position, you're going to get paid.
Yeah.
Unless you're a quarterback.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, are you willing to start all over again? A couple teams have.
Yeah.
Chicago Bears did, which we've been very hard on them the last couple of months about that.
Yeah.
Even going into the draft, we were hard on them about it. But if you want to compete, are you going to pay your guy? And I think this is why Jordan Love got paid. Tua got paid. Trevor Lawrence got paid. Are they premier quarterbacks in this league? One bit. Not really. I don't think so.
No.
But are you ready to start all over again? The Jaguars have spent a lot of money. Miami has spent a lot of money.
Right.
And realistically, the Packers, they have not spent a lot of money, but they're going to. They realize that they're going to compete in that division. That Lions team is very young.
And somehow they paid the quarterback, and it just doesn't seem like they lost a whole. I mean, they lost Sutton, who was in a little bit of trouble, and but it doesn't seem like I don't go into the season thinking wow, the Lions got worse. How are they going to repeat? It's more, are they going to be able to hold on in the fourth quarter of a championship game to get themselves propelled to their first Super Bowl?
And I do think they will. I think it's a learning experience, right?
Yeah.
And Dan Campbell, he did what he did, and to be fair, he's going to do it again.
Don't change who you are.
Yeah, it's who he is. It's what they do, and that's what that fan base wants.
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Talk about things who you are and what you're doing. I want to talk about us for a second. We had last year, we signed on. We had a great time focusing on local sports.
Yep.
And definitely in the NFL offseason, it kind of took it to a different level.
Yeah.
We put all of our focus into that. We came to understanding as who we are, and we said, you know what? We're going back to who we are.
Yeah.
We're going to drink beer. We're going to gamble. And we're going to talk sports. And we might even drop an F-bomb every now and again.
Why not, right? We're down here drinking some Powerhouse beer.
So let's go back to who we are. We're still going to focus on local talent.
Yeah.
We're going to bring them in every week, hopefully. And if not, we just go do what we were doing before.
Well, yeah. I mean, people have liked coming on. People have enjoyed the exposure. We've done anything from curling to boxing to local hockey, we did women's tackle football.
We did wrestling. Local wrestling we did.
Yeah.
Something I never thought we would do, but we did.
I can tell you, like, if you are looking to go to local wrestling, Hammerlock Wrestling is fun to watch. If you're looking for a wrestler to be on your slow pitch team, do not call those guys. They cannot swing bats. We had them here for our home run derby party. It was tough. It was tough to watch.
They left early.
Yeah.
It was early exits for a lot of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, we were recording it, so it's tough for them to watch that. And, you know, there were some 700-foot bombs hit. They did not do any of
I did not do that either. I'll make that very clear.
You might have hurt yourself.
But yeah, like, we decided we're going to go back to doing us.
Yeah.
And focusing on the NFL, focusing on NCAA.
Yeah.
With a sprinkle of local stuff on it. And that's why we're down here.
Yeah.
And put on this great show for everybody that watches for us.
Yeah, and Kellogg's has been great. They gave us an amazing venue up here in the clubhouse. This is the new studio. We've hosted a cornhole tournament 1.0. Keep your eyes open for cornhole tournament 2.0, which is going to be in the next few weeks.
August 18th.
August 18th. Yeah.
Yours truly, us boys right here, will be hosting. We had a 32-team tournament about a month ago.
Yeah.
Huge success. We're gonna live off that and kind of roll with it.
Yeah.
We're hoping to get 64 teams, March Madness style.
Yeah.
Won't be over 4 weekends though. We're gonna try to get it all done in a couple hours.
Yeah. And we're not gonna have regional sites. Everything will happen down there in the courtyard, and then, you know, rain or shine, we can always come up here. There's lots of room up here, lots of beer, lots of simulators, lots of fun to be had around here. You know, we look at we talked about the quarterbacks being paid, and, you know, that is a 20-hour episode all by itself.
And we can't do that fully without Kalen, because he's gonna bring the emotion.
Yeah, I mean, Kalen is out for dinner with his wife. Happy birthday to Sydney. But something that's being minorly overlooked is the Dallas Cowboys handling of the way their situations are working out. They have a quarterback on the last year of his contract. Does he deserve $55 million? I think we've already talked about it. It doesn't matter what you deserve. It just matters what
your value is to your team.
Yeah, exactly. So does CeeDee Lamb get paid? I know that there's been a contract offer. As far as I know, he hasn't signed it. And then the Micah Parsons thing.
Like, that guy has to get paid.
He has come out and said he'll either play for the Cowboys or the Steelers. I got to tell you, I'm not sure either one of those teams is ponying up $30 million to an end. That's not named TJ Watt, but I mean, he's an amazing player. So, like, you can't have both guys on your team. So I think the thing that's overlooked in all that is, if you're a Cowboys fan, you're bitter because you haven't won a playoff game in 20 years, or you haven't been relevant in the playoffs in 20 years. But the fact that those three guys are on their roster, and those three guys were all drafted onto this roster, should say something that is, like, those are champagne problems.
Yeah.
This is not the Cleveland Browns giving away the next 5 years of first-round picks for Deshaun Watson. These are guys that you brought in. They're homegrown. As far as CeeDee Lamb goes, he hasn't got paid yet. Parsons hasn't got paid yet. You know, the Dak Prescotts of the world, he's in year, like 8 or 9. So he's made some money. It's more or less, do you bring him back? I think the easy answer is, of course you do.
Out of those three, who doesn't get signed?
I mean, to me right now, the person that doesn't get signed is the last person to the trough. And I think, to me, that's going to be Parsons. It's not because he doesn't deserve it, because that guy deserves, you know, top-tier defensive money, which for his position is 25 to 27 million. Like, those are the Joey Bosa contracts. If you're looking at CeeDee Lamb, I don't think he plays this year for $14 million. If you're looking at Dak Prescott, yeah, he probably would play the year without a contract, but knowing that at the end of the year, unless he really, like, falls apart, he is getting $55 to $60 million at the end of the year, whether it's the Cowboys or X team that just steps up. You know, the Raiders are a quarterback hungry team. There's lots of options out there that this guy can go make that money, or he could take, like, a 1-year prove it deal and then eventually get that money back. So when you think of Parsons coming to the table, there's only so much bread you can spread around, and as much as he is the most impactful player they have on their defense, I just don't understand how they could pony up for all three.
I think CD is the man out, to be honest.
Okay. So you don't think he signs the contract that they have on the table right now?
I don't think they're going to come to the table with enough money for him.
That could be true.
They know they have to re-sign Dak. That's number one. You need a quarterback.
Like, if you're Dak, do you really need $55 million right now? Like where do you draw your line? Is it like he's already gotten paid once?
He only got 38
a year.
I get that.
Yeah, I mean, like, only like Kirk Cousins goes after all this money, and like people keep giving it to him. So like, keep signing your deals, whatever. But like, in 18 years, Ben Roethlisberger made like $226 million. Eli Manning made like 200 and whatever million. Like, this is not money to sneeze at. Tom Brady made like 275 million in like whatever, like 20
years.
Right. So like, now you start looking at, so Dak Prescott is in year 8 or 9, something like that, and he's made, what do you think, like 115? So like, what does he need from the Cowboys to feel important? Like 5 years at 55 or 60 million? I mean, it's $300 million. Like, what? At a certain point, like, you're just giving it away in taxes anyway.
I agree with you, and I think that's kind of where it's at. I still believe he's going to get the 50 million because what's going to happen is they're going to say you underpaid us the first time,
right?
Which everybody knows that they did. So
is it weird if I just unhook my mic?
Go grab it.
I can't unhook my. I have to unhook my.
Oh, okay.
Keep talking. I'm listening.
But yeah, like, you underpaid him the first time. You're going to have to pay him the second time, or he's going to walk. Out of the 3 guys there, though, he has to be the one that's going to take the money. And Mike is going to take his cut. And realistically, how many receivers are drafted now in the first round every single year? That's what it comes down to. Is there a guy that you think that can take and do the job that CeeDee Lamb does? I honestly believe that there is. There's probably going to be a rookie receiver that's coming in. That's the next best thing.
Well, and then you think of a guy like Puka Nacua, who came out of nowhere last year, and I wouldn't go on record saying he's a top 20 receiver, but I think he'll be a heavily overdrafted fantasy player if you're a fantasy player.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's kind of where it's at for receivers. So you got to think about it. He's on the odd man, $30 million for a receiver when you can draft one for 5. It's kind of like Dak's going to get paid because he's going to be the next one up. Like I said, Brock Purdy's going to get up. Now, if you're the Cowboys, and because I think those 2 guys are going to wait and see what each other gets.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's important. And how does CeeDee Lamb get to the table, and how does he get into practice if he doesn't sign one of these deals? Which I don't know if anybody realizes this, because it just clued into me today. The first football game for this season is actually Thursday. It's a Hall of Fame game. Caleb Williams, C.J. Stroud. And that's just a side tangent because ADHD is a real thing, and I think about different things in my brain as I just say them. But, yeah. Does Dak wait for Lamb to sign? Maybe. Does Dak want to come back without Lamb? That might be the choice that he has to make.
I'm going to tell you, though, if I'm the Raiders, I would throw the table at Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
He had Devontae there, and whoever's watched that receiver show, he wasn't the most happy guy last year.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is, if you got Adams there and you're going to make a move for Prescott next year, maybe you move on from Adams and try and pry away Lamb from the Cowboys right now. And I'm not suggesting that the Cowboys are going to trade away CeeDee Lamb and then just let Dak Prescott walk in free agency.
Definitely not happening.
like you say whatever you want about the Jones family. They're not bad business people. and they wouldn't make a bad business decision like that. They do seem to always find themselves in quarterback or in contract situations, which I don't fully understand why they let it get to that point. But that's the reality of where they're at, and it'll be interesting to see. Like I said, if there is a contract that has been extended to Lamb, his people, whatever, his million lawyers are going through it and trying to figure out how close it is to Justin Jefferson. And then, assuming that slipper falls, because 14 million is probably not going to cut it for him. There's another guy with his hands out asking for money. Brandon Ayuk, not unwarranted, by the way.
He did say he played though.
I think that he's trying to say and do all the right things. It would be very difficult to ask for sympathy from the fan base when you're making $15 million and you want to sit out. That's tough. I understand you want to solidify your future. But one thing that I think is certain, he's not getting traded.
No, he's going to be a 49er. He's going to play. And let's be real. You're not making pennies at $15 million.
Right.
You're going to sit out and have nothing.
Or at a bunch of fines. They're just gonna start adding up at some point.
They're in the hole.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you're in a chance to win a Super Bowl. Where like if you play in that game, there's a good chance you could be the MVP.
Yeah.
And if that happens, that money you just wanted, now it's going to double.
Well, and that like I understand the franchise tag wouldn't be ideal because you want long-term stability. But if you were to look at the franchise tag going into next year,
it's probably about $35 million.
I was gonna say the top 5 receivers are all making in the 30s, so you're gonna get that.
I'll sign it. I'll do it right now. I don't gotta think about it.
Yeah,
say the franchise tag.
And then if you're looking at the year after, they franchise you again, you get a 20% raise. Yeah, that's a pretty good bump.
Ask Kirk.
Yeah, So you're looking at like $71 million for 2 years. And then all you'd have to do is find out something for this year. You need to find a way to build in some incentives or build in just some extra money and just like move it forward. And I respect the 49ers for not wanting to do that. And they're not really in a position. Like this year, they have some cap room that they can play with.
But next year, they don't. They know that.
Next year, they're in big trouble. And they're like, if you're making the decision right now, Ayuk or Trent Williams, which one's more important to your quarterback? I mean, the easy answer is both. Like, do you want your left tackle or do you want
your number 2 receiver?
Yeah, like I would say that he's the one, and he does a lot of things for them that don't show up in like catches or yards or but it's tough for them to look past Debo. If I were John Lynch, I would have attempted to move Debo. You're not getting a first round pick for Debo. You're getting like a 3rd or a 4th because he's already 28 years old and he's got 30 million attached to him like this year, next year, and the year after. So I mean, you're not getting like a huge return for him, but the reality is good teams don't let good players walk. And if you let top quality players walk, you're not going to be a good team for long. So Brandon Ayuk, is he a top 5 receiver? I don't know. Top 7? The conversation heats up. Top 10? 100%. Is Debo Samuel a top 10 receiver? Depends how you scheme it, but I'd say he's a top 10 offensive player.
Through Debo, right? And we saw that last year. They lost those 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like Brock didn't look great in those 3 games.
You're right.
And to me, it showed that Ayuk couldn't take the double coverage.
Right.
And also now their offense was nothing.
Well, and I think that's part of it is, as much as it's a throwing league, it's an offensive league, it's whatever. Like, I feel this shift coming, and it's really produced by the 49ers and the Lions, where you get open receivers by running the ball. So there's teams that have gone back to run first and let's work off play action. It doesn't matter if they think we're going to run it, if you have the right scheme and the right blockers, you can get yourself to the right spot. And like now it's time to turn it. Like I am looking forward to this season because that is the direction that the Steelers have taken. They have no money wrapped up in a quarterback. They have 3 quarterbacks that are going to make less than $10 million combined. Everything that they do is going to be running the ball. If they have to throw the ball 24 times in a game, they probably lost. That's just the reality. So I'm excited to watch linemen just run over some of these guys and just go back to like bully ball. And when you look at the old version of the Titans, the Arthur Smith offense that's coming in, they had AJ Brown for a couple of years, but like
it's a different AJ Brown.
I was gonna say, like, he broke 1,000 yards as a rookie. He broke 1,000 yards as like a second-year guy. But yeah, he's not the same AJ Brown that's on the Eagles right now. So could George Pickens be AJ Brown? On the Titans, he could. Do they need a number 2 receiver? I mean, it'd be cool for like Madden, but like in the actual
US
game,
and Canada
I don't
are
think
among
so.
the many countries
That's what I mean.
raising
Like, I don't think
concern.
it matters. I looked at a lot of the Arthur Smith offense from Tennessee and from Atlanta, and a number 2 receiver doesn't really matter. They kind of split their number 2 receiver between like 3 or 4 guys. A good quality receiver that can stretch the field, and a tight end, or a couple of tight ends. That's really all you need. And I was looking at the Bucks today, and I didn't realize that they were in a major contract dispute with Tristan Wirfs.
Yeah,
and it seems like they're pretty far apart on it.
Well, no, I'm going to draw a blank on his name. On our GM came out and said he has every right to be the highest paid left tackle in football.
Okay.
So right now, that tells me is we agree with you. We just have to find the way to make it work.
Right.
So like, it might not be this year. And like
this year is like it's your last year paying Brady, right?
Yeah. So like we can push it down the line a little bit. We're done paying Tom Brady after this year,
right?
Which will free up $25 million. Because right now between Tom Brady and Baker Mayfield, we have $60 million in quarterbacks.
Right.
$25 million on top of Tristan Wirfs' contract. Well, that'll make him stay. He does deserve to be the highest paid left tackle in football. I think him and Trent Williams are the 2 best. I'm sure some Lions fans will tell me different. But that's my honest opinion. I watch a lot of Bucs games, and no one touches him. He can play both sides of the line, too, which not a lot of linemen can do.
Right.
Like, he was an all-pro as a rookie on the right-hand side. Switched to the left-hand side, was an all-pro again.
Yeah.
Not too many guys can do that.
But and so the Bucs are a team they're going in this year. They didn't make any splashy moves. That's okay. But they signed a quarterback, so that's important.
Yeah.
And the division didn't get much better, but Kirk Cousins is now in the division. But they drafted in a quarterback controversy. But any reason to believe that the Bucs aren't just the favorite to win that division? That, like, to me, they're a 10-win team that's going to win that division.
I believe so. I think anything less than division title is a failure of a season.
Yeah.
Our division's weak to start with.
Right.
Outside of a Kirk Cousins Falcons, there's no one else there. And
like Derek Carr isn't scary, and neither does Bryce Young.
No, I just think the Saints don't scare me at all. They've always been our Achilles heel.
Yeah.
But they also had Drew Brees for a long time.
Right.
The Falcons, I think, are realistically the best defense in the whole division. I'll give them that. Offensively, I just don't know if they're there. They have weapons all over the field, but for some reason they never put it together.
Right.
So we'll kind of see how that plays out. And as far as the Bucs go, like, we haven't lost anybody, really. Our whole offense is intact.
So, like, you traded a corner away to Detroit, but, like, corner is one of those positions that you can just kind of cycle through and rotate through. I mean, Detroit made it to the NFC Championship game last year with no corners. So, it's hard.
Who do we have to be? Like, no one in our division can throw a football.
Well, that's
Like you're going to win the division regardless. So you don't got to worry about that problem until you get to the playoffs.
and the best quarterbacks are in the AFC, which I mean, ultimately you have to worry about when it gets to the Super Bowl. But you don't have to be Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, uh, Lamar Jackson. Like you don't have to beat these guys in the playoffs, right? Like, you have to get to the playoffs, and you're worried about facing Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, not worried at all.
Yeah,
We schooled him.
yeah, and like you're worried about facing Dak Prescott. Like these guys aren't like it's not Nate Pearson, but it's not,
Like, yes, they're household, like, well, they're, I would say household names, but they're Pro Bowl quarterbacks because the
Yeah.
Pro Bowl, especially the NFC, is weak.
they're expensive quarterbacks that you don't need to worry about in the same level. You know, like I'll put Deshaun Watson in that same camp. Like he is a guy that made a whole bunch of money. He's made a whole bunch of noise.
He's made a whole lot of mistakes.
Yeah, he's never won anything. I mean, he's never won a football game, never won a court case. Like
Definitely not won a court case.
This guy is
He's like 39 or 0-39.
Yeah, this guy's a disaster.
I
But
almost said 39 and 0, and that is the complete opposite of what I meant.
yeah, he is a wreck. So you get somebody like that out there, and you know, guys like Watson have skewed the quarterback market altogether because
He ruined the market. Like he
Yeah.
ruined teams' markets because of that.
well, and that's like owners were mad at Cleveland for doing that.
Rightfully so.
Well, like if you're willing to do that, great. But in a copycat league, you can't. Well, you can do whatever you want, but you shouldn't be able to just change the market by being stupid.
But like it was like, how do you go with Baker getting re-signed? And I was like, we paid $35 million for 3 years, so 105 million guaranteed,
Yeah,
with the potential of 115. That's a discounted starting quarterback.
yeah,
And he did it. He's like, look at the guys I have around me.
right.
I think he also realized, like, I'm probably not going to get a better deal. Let's start with that. But number two, like, do I need more than $35 million? Well, that's guaranteed.
And if you look at it and say, if I were to get a bigger deal, who am I playing for?
Yeah, exactly.
Like the Raiders,
Ooh.
Washington. Like these are teams that do not have the pieces around you, and you clearly, first of all, you found a place with nice weather. So you can just like chill in Miami all the time and like.
Also, I'm gonna be honest. Tampa doesn't give a shit about anything.
Yeah.
Like, I think our team just parties more than do anything else.
Well, and
It's like you live in Florida.
yeah.
There's no state income tax.
Well, and
Like that helps out 35 million a whole lot.
that's a raise right there. But overall, yeah, you find a place you're comfortable. You like the offense. You know that you have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin.
Like I was playing with Johnny Manziel. That guy can play with anybody.
Yeah,
And he knows what's like the party.
they they broke some records. Yeah, and on and off the field,
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah,
I know what you're saying.
yeah. Hall of Fame game is Thursday, and with that, it also means that Caleb Williams is going to make his way onto an NFL field for the first time. I don't know how much he's going to play. I'm going to assume C.J. Stroud on the other side doesn't play at all.
He'll be in the hoodie.
Yeah, like he might have a wristband on. He might not. Who knows? But I would say Caleb Williams plays probably 2 series.
Tops.
But does Keenan Allen and DJ Moore play?
No.
So
I can tell you now, Keenan Allen does not play.
yeah, that guy
That guy is one step away from a hangnail and be done for the season.
But and overall, do you want to see him play? Like I think that if you're a Bears fan, you've invested all this money into Caleb Williams, which obviously it's controlled money, but like the money that was invested in Caleb Williams is the money that went into Keenan Allen and Marquise Sweat, and like all these guys that made all this.
Who also got kicked out of practice last week.
Oh, no, you rather have to say sick 'em than whoa, right? Like I don't know what to expect from Caleb Williams, but I listened to an interview of his, and I got to tell you, he does not sound like a quarterback.
And like this is the whole thing. And like I wish Caleb was hearing this because I know he's a big fan of Caleb Williams. I think he's going to be a good football player. I don't think he's going to be this next level quarterback. I'm already saying. Like I'm going to put it this way: the way that Caleb feels about Trevor Lawrence is probably how I feel about Caleb Williams. Maybe I have a little bit less hatred because like I don't understand why his hatred is so hard.
Well, because he could never look past the Titans stuff, and like the fact
Like,
that Trevor Lawrence is the Jaguar is a problem for him.
To me, it's like I think he's going to be in that category because I honestly believe you brought this is the part that really frustrates me is you brought in weapons for Caleb Williams.
Right.
You never gave Justin Fields that chance.
Agreed.
And I think if you put these guys on the field with Justin Fields, you get the same result. I think that's the part that frustrates with the Bears.
Yeah.
And I think Justin Fields is better for what their offense could be, is a better option.
He showed flashes, but yeah,
like they were a shitty football team at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
They almost made it to the playoffs.
I know.
And I think that's what people don't realize. He won, I think, 7 of his last 10 games to almost get them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then you shipped them out of town
for a bag of footballs.
So, like, all I know is that the first time the Steelers ever play the Bears, I hope he gets to be on the field.
Yeah.
And I hope it's in Chicago.
Well, like that quarterback situation is going to be interesting because camp opens, Russell Wilson's hurt, so Justin Fields is taking all the first team
I
snaps.
want to ask you that. So go on, but yeah.
Yeah. So you read all the press clippings, whatever. Russell Wilson's the guy. He's hosting all the receivers, whatever. But quietly, Justin Fields just shows up, does all the right things, shows up to camp, wears a sweater that says "Stay humble," whatever. I can tell you, 4 days into camp, the beat writers are calling for Justin Fields to be the starter.
I know. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not a Steelers fan, so the fact that I hear these things, I was like, oh, like there's something brewing down there.
Yeah.
Obviously, Russ is injured, so that's a different kind of situation. And I do think Russ is day one starter. I just think they have to.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, and I've seen this in my own situation coaching, you can't go back. So if you go with Russ, then all of a sudden you go to Justin, you can't go back to Russ.
Well, that's right.
No. So it's one of those things where it's like
Connor Elliott said you smell like a donkey.
Yeah, it happens sometimes, you know? I'll take that as a guy lives in Lucan, Ontario. Like he's just smelling his neighbors.
He likes it. He meant it as a compliment.
But yeah, like you can't go back from that.
Yeah.
You can't flip-flop quarterbacks. So to me, honestly, it's like, which quarterback do I think is going to fuck up first? Because that's who's going to start.
Right.
Because if I start Justin Fields and he shits the bed, and I bring in Russell Wilson, I can't go back to Justin Fields. So it makes more sense to start the veteran who literally is on a prove-it contract. So if he doesn't play good this year, he's probably out of the league. Well, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, mostly because like he's not humble enough to go be a backup somewhere.
Yeah, they've been drinking. They've been having some fun today. I was getting text messages on a real job.
the boys are having some fun. What up, Conrad? Yeah, so to me, I would say I agree with you. I think definitely having a beer. I think that it starts with Russell to get on the field. What he needs to do is find a way to get over this calf injury and get on it, because him playing is going to silence if they we're playing 7-on-7. Right? Like it's not like Joseph Fields isn't playing the 85 Bears or the 70s Steelers when he's talking about what he's doing in practice, but he's showing flashes. He's staying under the radar, and I actually think it's the best thing for Justin Fields' career longevity for him to not be the week 1 starter. If he were to come in whatever, week 10 or week whatever, and then it gets to a point where he's replacing Russell Wilson for an injury, that's where he can take over.
I was going to say like if you're 4-4 or 5-4, but Russell hasn't played well. I think your run game and your defense could get you there.
Yeah, well, and so this was why they're gonna have a top 5 defense.
But if you're not scoring but you're winning, it's a very easy transition to go to the next guy.
Well, and that's kind of like what happened with Pickett and Rudolph.
Yeah.
I mean, Rudolph came in and he had some more explosive plays, so like it was easier to like witness it. But Pickett wasn't losing games; he just wasn't winning them. The offense was shit. Like it doesn't matter if it was Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes. The offense they were running was so bad, nobody was going to score points. They fired somebody. They went to run first. Pickett still wasn't firing the touchdowns that the fan base wanted, but like in reality, I like Pickett. I could see him being the starter for Philadelphia. Not this year, unless Hurts gets unless he gets hurt. But if Philly misses the playoffs or has an early playoff exit, I could see Kenny Pickett being the starter for Philly next year. I think he's got the capability, but when you look at what,
all right, so I'm supposed to be wrong with Drake May and the Patriots because we'll get there. Give us a second.
Yeah, but like if you look at the situation that happened for Kenny Pickett in Pittsburgh, if it wasn't for a bad offensive coordinator, and if it wasn't for the Russell Wilson signing, he's still there. I still stand by him as a first-round pick. Like he would have been whatever, but he also was the first real quarterback after Ben Roethlisberger. So like,
well, it's like what happened in Denver all those years, right? They still haven't found their guy.
Yeah,
they've tried.
Yeah, like you go from John Elway, to, like anybody else.
Yeah, Jake Plummer,
and then the AFC Championship game too,
and then Jay Cutler,
and and
they still like, and those are two like legit starting quarterbacks, and like it's like they were nothing to Denver.
Yeah, like is Ben Roethlisberger a top 5 quarterback in the league history? I mean, depending on who you got.
Tell you no. You know what?
Yeah,
we've had a lot of debates about this until he won a second Super Bowl.
Well, so you call him top 10 in NFL history?
So that's a show for a different day.
Okay, but
like that's going to be a heated show.
I'll just make the point. I'll assume he was a quarterback of a top 10 caliber for 12 of his 18 years.
What do I think would be a great show? Like completely fuck current NFL. You, me, and Kalen list our top 20 players of all time, regardless of position. And then like just let the debate go.
Game on.
I think we can have a lot of fun.
We might have to bring our sleeping bags. But yeah, I'm into it.
Like even top 10. Go top 5 quarterbacks of all time, top 10. Let's see which ones line up. So we like discard them almost.
Yeah.
So, like, let the debate happen where like there's a little bit of mix matching. Like you put Ben Roethlisberger at 5. I don't. It's like, okay, well, like now let's roll into it in the why.
Yeah. Oh, look.
Like we've had dumber conversations on this show.
Yeah, we're having a dumb one right now. I'm not worried about that side of it. Do you want to talk about Drake May? Because I mean, overall, I don't even think he's a starter. I think that it's Jacoby Brissett.
I just don't think the Patriots are relevant for a long time.
Well, and they're in a tough position too, right? Like they obviously the Brady thing turned into Cam Newton, turned into like the Bailey Zappies of the world. All
right, so I'm going to cut you off. Just doing because of the Patriots.
Okay.
There's no one to talk about here. These guys already started to name their top 5 quarterbacks of all time.
Okay.
I don't think they're in any order.
Trent Dilfer just made the list.
Ooh, we're talking about counting up, or like is it ascending or descending?
We're talking about quarterbacks. We're not talking about top 5 broadcasters.
On my number 1, 2, and 3. No order. Because I think across you get to debate 1, 2, and 3 in any order.
Okay.
Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Peyton Manning.
Okay.
I think at 4 and 5 it gets interesting. I actually think right now Patrick Mahomes is probably number 4 of all time.
Okay.
I think by the time his career is over, he might be number 2. He could be 1. I don't know if anybody's going to surpass Tom Brady.
I Connor, Airbud.
And I think my number 5 though is the one that's like that big massive wild card, because I don't think Dan Marino is the best quarterback of all time.
No,
I'm going to say a name, and I'm going to get fucking blown up. I think it's Aaron Rodgers. I've never seen anybody throw a better ball than Aaron Rodgers, be a more accurate quarterback than Aaron Rodgers, and lead really shitty teams to wins than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting to think Aaron Rodgers.
And I'm not saying I'm right, but like, that's just my brain works.
Yeah, like when we look at quarterbacks that were, I don't know, 90s and like earlier, it's hard to judge them based on stats.
100%.
It's also hard to judge them based on we've watched highlights. So, like Terry Bradshaw gets a lot of flack. I don't give a fuck if you are a shitty quarterback. You don't win 4 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Period. Like you can't convince me. Like if we're saying that the standard is winning,
He's there. 4-0.
Yeah. Right. 4-0 in Super Bowl. Was a first overall pick that lost his job, fought hard to get it back, did all the right things, played into the 80s. Still, like, I think a pretty hilarious broadcaster. But, like,
should be off TV, I think.
Well, I'm pretty sure he should have been canceled by this point, but, like, you hit a certain age where, like, people just let you go. The Dan Marino, I would say, is, like, the best tier passer.
See, I think Aaron Rodgers beats him. That's my opinion.
Yeah. But the way Dan Marino found people, just the way that he could fit it into different slots, I think I agree with you that Aaron Rodgers should be up in the conversation.
I think also getting high with Aaron Rodgers would be a phenomenal day.
Well,
see, now you're thinking about it.
Well, it's like if you get high with Aaron Rodgers, you're smoking something. If you get high with Dan Marino, you're snorting something. So, like, one of those you can go to work the next day. The other one, you're probably, you're riding the highway. Yeah. So, yeah.
But would you agree with 1, 2, and 3? Manning, Brady, and Montana in any order?
So that's it. Like, it's tough to judge. Like I said, so Peyton Manning, like, nobody more methodical on the field. Like, the difference between him and Tom Brady is, like, Tom Brady lines up and watches enough film and knows what the coaches have asked him to do, so he knows where everyone's going to be. Peyton Manning lines up and just, like, goes beautiful mind. Doesn't matter how much film he watch. He just sees things that people don't.
I was like Tom Brady to kill switch, though.
Yeah, well, exactly. You're 100% right on that. Peyton Manning did not have a kill switch. Would I put Peyton Manning above, like, a Terry Bradshaw or Dan Marino? I have a hard time doing it. And I have a hard time doing it because he wasn't productive in Super Bowls. He had the history of not winning the big game, but then he did get over it. And then he did take two different teams to the Super Bowl. That does put to the cred, but he also lost multiple Super Bowls with multiple teams. So how good of teams are put around him? He's obviously, like, instrumental, and, like, he would be on a high. Like, I would put Peyton Manning's ability over, like, the Roethlisberger ability. Like, I'm not going to go that homerish, but I just have a hard time saying that, like, Bradshaw's championships or Marino's stats in the age that he was in compared to, like, what Peyton Manning did.
Honestly, though, I think we can talk about this all day.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this is definitely the world's best topic for like an off season, I think. Like after the Super Bowl, because like we're gonna have to kill a lot of time.
No doubt.
But I think for the first show back, preseason starts this week.
Yeah.
We're gonna start rolling. As everybody's seeing, we have all our sponsors out in the corner. We can't do this without them. So thank you to all those guys because we appreciate them. And man, football is just getting started.
Football's getting started. We got lots of things going on at the clubhouse and down here at Kellogg's. So make sure you stay tuned to all of our socials. Make sure you pay attention to everything that we got going on. We're going to post it. We're going to get you down here. If you like cornhole or you just like sunshine,
August on the 18th, man.
August 18th. If you got a local sport that you want us to promote, come on by. We can add extra chairs here. There's probably like 200 chairs in this place.
Yes.
They said we can do whatever we
The
want.
whole squad.
Yeah, we can do whatever we want. So we appreciate everyone checking this out. Camp is in. Preseason's about to get started. Your fantasy drafts are about to get started. Your family vacations are probably getting going. Wear sunscreen. Drink Powerhouse beer.
Don't get douchebag sunburns like you and I do.
Yeah. I call them cool guy tans at work, but like what you're saying is way better. Yeah. Drink your Powerhouse beer, wear your sunscreen, and we will see everybody next time.
Cheers.